Some people, their feelings are all over the place. Like whenever they have issues, they are always mood swinging. They have mood swings. They don't even want to be told. They want to be talked to, but when you talk to them, they start mood swinging, and then they isolate themselves from people, and then they start thinking like whatever anyone says, these people think that you are actually talking about them. You are actually insinuating it is them, even if it is something that is random. So such people make people start walking on shells. Now, when they walk on shells, that kind of atmosphere is actually very uncomfortable. It's very uncomfortable because you don't know, if I say this, the person is going to think I'm saying them. You can't even crack a joke because they are going to think actually the joke is on them. So such people have negative vibe, and they are always just pollute the environment with their vibe. They are always mood swinging, they are always angry. So such people are just toxic in the environment, and they affect the entire environment because the way they feel is the same way they're actually extending their feelings to other people. I heard of a story of someone who was actually like that. She's a pastor right now as we speak, and she had that kind of vibe. And by the way, these people don't even know that they actually have that vibe. But after someone actually confronted them and talked to them out of it, they're actually the most happy people that are around right now. They have that kind of energy. In the space they're in, people actually pick the joy you get. So, well, my name is Annette TK, and I am back. For our last segment, we're talking about feelings. These are things that we talked about last week and the other week. So this is like the third week we are talking about feelings. And I think this one should really be the last segment. Yeah, we shall continue talking about it as we go on. But at the end of the day, the target is to manifest our dreams that they may actually come to reality. Yes, I am someone who is very passionate about manifesting things, because I believe the Bible as is, and I do not agree that we are just created to just come and pass by. I am not of that school of thought. I actually believe that each one is uniquely created to actually achieve that thing they are meant to achieve. And that is why this space has been created here. And you may be able to achieve those things, those dreams, those are deep down that you actually buried. You think you outgrew, yet you really didn't outgrow. And this is the Manifest Academy. You're welcome. You're welcome. Well, the other weeks that we talked about feelings, we talked about the subconscious, and we say that the subconscious accepts that which you feel as true. Whatever you feel, the subconscious is recording it as something that is true. It's not thinking that you're imagining. It's not thinking that you are guessing. The subconscious is not a joker. It just picks everything. It's like a recorder. You know, a recorder that you pick, like a recorder, even the cough, even the hesitation, even the hiccup, the recorder will record. Now that is the subconscious. We also talked about what you focus on is what you attract. Something that you set your mind to, that is something that you attract. If you focus on debt, you're feeling like I have to clear my debt, I have to clear my debt. It is the debt that you're focusing on. You have to focus on something. You have to focus on finances. And when you focus on money, increase of money, then you can actually use it to clear your debt. Why are you focusing on the debt? When you focus on it, there will be more debt. I know the sound of it. But yeah, you're focusing it and you attract it. It is a cause and effect thing. And also, we talked about you want to know what lies in your subconscious. Remember, we said the subconscious is actually who you are, because this is something that just happens without even your thinking. It just happens like automatic, whether you know it or you don't know it. But the thing is, you have been feeling it the whole time. The whole time you have been actually loading it with things, using your conscious, from the things you see, from the things you touch, the things you smell, the things you actually speak, the things you actually think, So those are things that have been feeding actually the subconscious, and it has actually come to be you. So, if you want to know what lies in your subconscious, actually all you do is just to check your feelings. So we also said that nothing can destroy man except himself. That is how powerful man is, and that is something that we cannot break. That's why I greatly believe that there is something bigger. And for me, I so much know that we are gods, but we shall die like mere men. I do not agree to die like a mere man, and I do not support you to die. You'll just be frustrated. You just keep going. Life goes like that. Like, you should be able to take charge of your life and you control it. Florence, there's a lady called Florence. She wrote, there's a lady called Florence. She wrote the Game of Life. And she said in her book, she said, if you don't run your subconscious mind yourself, someone will come and run it for you. And you know what she was meaning? She was meaning like even just every day today, the newspapers, the media, the media, the newspapers, the TV, the cartoon, everything that goes around the environments that you know of. These are things that are actually running our subconscious. So if you have not set your own pace to run your own subconscious, someone is actually going to run it for you. That is why you actually need to run it. Well, yes, that is what we actually talked about the other 2 weeks. And this week, we are actually going to talk about the same thing. Yes, we're talking about still feelings. And this time, I want us to focus mostly on your thoughts. Now, what you think is what causes you to actually feel a thing. When you think that this place is dark and scary, there's a way you're going to feel a bit intimidated. Even in the night, when you are just moving, like you get up and you probably watched a thriller. You probably watched a thriller and then you're worried of, oh, is that the python? Is that this? You're actually thinking it. And the way you think it is going to make you actually feel it. You're going to actually feel it, but from your thought. When you are thinking good things, then you are going to feel good. So when you're thinking, seeing yourself successful, seeing yourself having achieved the things that you ought to achieve, you're thinking yourself in those things that you actually want to get. You're thinking yourselves having gotten that house, that dream house, having gotten that dream job, having gotten that dream, anything that you dream of, having gotten it, because you first think of it. The feelings cannot just come if you have not thought it. It all first begins in the mind. I keep telling you that the mind is a very powerful thing, and that is something that God has actually given to us. He has given to us freely, like it is free for us. That is the power that He has actually placed in us. We have nothing without that power of our mind. Now, in our mind is where everything can actually be happening. Everything actually happens. You can achieve any kind of dream. Do you remember that song of I remember when my grandma told me that I could be anything I want to be. Grandma was right. You can actually be anything you want to be. You just have to actually think it. You just have to actually think it. Then when you think it, you're going to feel it. And when you feel it, you're already in that place. Leave alone this thing that you think and then you just leave it there like that. You have to think it and actually go through with it until you actually start feeling that thing that you're thinking. Because what you feel starts from what you're actually thinking of. That is why I am saying that your thought, which is in your mind very well, is a very, very, very powerful thing. That's why when they're asking about a question, maybe like in class, they ask, what do you think? Like, what do you think is the answer of 1 + 1? What do you think is this? Like, even if they haven't actually even given you, they have never told you about that, they'll just probably place there a statement and then they will say, what do you think about this statement? Or like when you see this thing, what do you see? Because they're trying to poke your thought. Like you think about it and what do you see? Because thought can actually come in images. Thought can actually come in memories. Thought can actually come in different ways. That's why I say, what do you think? Because thought is actually very, very big. And actually in thought, there is memory, there are even pictures. Like even those memories, you can actually see pictures. Or you remember something that actually happened. So it's a very strong thing. It's a very, very strong thing. That is why if you want to destroy actually someone, you just have to destroy their mind. People in the psychic world, they are in Butabika, they are not okay. They're actually not okay because that is the part that has been affected. That's why you see the devil is always fighting to affect our mind. The devil does not fight you to take over what or what. That is necessary for the devil. His target is the mind because the mind is what actually works everything. It's actually what opens everything. It's what actually causes healing. It's actually what causes conception of anything. Like you can actually be anything you want to be. That is how true it is. And it's not too late. I told you people that it's not too late. You can actually begin anytime. You can actually begin at 60. I was reading about the Kentucky Fried Chicken that time. And this guy, did he start selling anything at 80? Because he had been bounced from the job when he was never doing anything good. He had actually never done anything good. So when he had retiring meanwhile is 60. So when he had retired, he actually tried, he remembered his grandmother's chicken. Oh, kudos to grandmas. They always have things. So we don't get to throw away everything. Grandmas are cool. So yeah, he remembered the grandma's recipe because he said that is the only thing. Because I think to him, he remembered that that was actually something that they ever praised him about. So he said, now what will he do? Because he was actually earning peanut. And then you retire on peanut. So he went and then did the fried chicken. He said he will sell around Kentucky here where he was staying. So he sold and they were still giving him credit. I tell you, that is the only good thing he ever did. At his workplace, he was always not doing well. So he realized actually that's the chicken he can actually do. Then when he continued like that, started selling in his neighborhood and he kept growing. Actually at 80, he had actually now spread, making franchise because of that. He started at 60. So for you, how old are you? It is not too late. You can actually start now. You can actually start now. It all begins in the mind. Your thoughts are important. You have to picture them. Do not be scattered everywhere. Scattering everywhere does not hit any target. You have to be focused. Like a soldier shooting. You cannot just shoot random. You're shooting stray bullets. You won't even know what you have shot. Like, yes, even if you shoot, you won't know what you have shot. So what benefit is it? But whatever you are targeting, you want to catch it. You want to get it. So focus and hit the target. And then in that way, you can actually be that which you want to be. Then you will know that grandma did not lie. Grandma did not lie. So what I am basically saying is that your thought is a very important aspect, and there is no day for as long as you live. For as long as you live, whether on your coma bed, on your sick bed, anything, your mind is very important. You just have to think, and then in your thought is where images are. Then you can actually see yourself healed. You see yourself victorious. You see yourself successful. You see yourself achieving all those things. How do you think anyone else makes that? The problem, everyone is looking for shortcuts. Everyone is looking for shortcuts. But this is the work you actually have to put into it. Until you master your mind, you cannot do anything to actually change anything. So if you cannot change yourself, you can't change anything. It starts with you have to master your own self before you even attempt to actually master anything. Now think on that thing that you actually want to achieve. Then you can actually be able to manifest that thing through your thoughts, which comes through feeling. Now feeling is then which gives you that vibe, like it's then that makes it tangible. That makes it you feel like that makes it actually tangible. Like when you are scared, like that scare is the way you even start shivering. Have you ever feared like those days? I was reading like those days, the tactic they would actually use to be able to win actually in battle, they would actually instill fear. They would instill fear on the masses where they are coming to fight, and these people would fear. Like what would kill them would be fear, even before the. So when the people just land, already their mind has imagined things, and they would just die before they would even do anything. Haven't you heard of people who were there and then they just shoot, like there's a bank robbery, you know? I think that was a movie I watched. There was bank robbery. Now, that bank robbery happened. And when it happened, everyone heads down, what. Now, imagine, because your head's down, you're not even seeing. So you're imagining anything that is going to happen. So when they just shot the first shot, people collapsed. People collapsed. The shot didn't touch anyone. Do you think they were so scared? They were so scared. The fear killed them because that is what they are feeling. But the feeling comes from what they were imagining. They were already seeing themselves dead. They were already seeing themselves buried. So it became so easy for them to actually be overcome. So in the same way, your thoughts, you really need to save them. And it should matter what actually is coming into your mind. Sometimes you may not, like randomly, you may not mind because of the many things we have already seen. We have watched a lot of movies. We have listened to a lot of songs. We have been in many places, like even the environments on the road accidents. Personally, I use the bypass a lot of times, and there are always accidents on that place. So you can imagine how many bodies I have seen there, like bodies, and I mean bodies. Like some of you have to first reach in the mortuary. I don't have to reach. I just have to see them on my way. You get. So we have seen those things. So on a random day while you are seated there, a thought can actually cross. But you see, a thought is going to come from something you have actually first seen or heard but it's going to use those doors, either the eyes or the ears. Maybe you actually read a book, or the mind, you read the book, your eyes. So it is going to actually use those things to capture you, and it will keep coming. But you have to fight it. You actually have to fight those thoughts that come, which cause a certain mode of feeling. That is why when I have a billion is mine now, that book, they talk about how you keep repeating the words, and then you keep repeating the words a lot of times so that you can actually get familiar with it. But you see, that kind of repetition helps you to actually now reset that which you want to have in your mind. That's what you want to have in your mind. Meaning, it will also reset what you want your thoughts to actually be, which will also release the feelings. When they say that actually, when you want to actually, that book actually talks about the environment. Like, your environment matters. And environment is actually a very big thing. For example, when you, like, I was hearing of a story of a certain man. This man, he was always he was a sales person. Sales people, they go selling things. So one time, I think his wife had read a book that told them that you have to feel a certain way to be able to actually catch that thing that you really want. So when she did that, she actually went and bought for her husband a suit. It was a very expensive suit. Now, those suits which you wear and you already feel rich. Do you know there's some clothes you wear and you just feel rich? There are some places you go to and you feel rich. Most people like to take photos in those places so that they can keep the feeling of wealth within them, or certain foods that you eat and you feel rich. While there are certain foods you eat and you feel like, I have seen days. I have seen days. Now, that kind of feeling now, this man, this expensive suit that they bought for him, he wore it. But whenever he wore that suit, that was the times he actually sold the most. Now, it was just the confidence that the suit brought. The suit didn't do anything, but just how the suit made him feel. It made him feel rich. It made him feel important. It made him feel equal to probably the director. So like, he feels like, okay, I am the manager and I am speaking to you. But he wasn't that. But that is the feeling that actually the clothes gave him. So it is important to maintain a certain kind of feeling. Like, there's a circle you be in, and then you feel like, yeah, I am actually of this class, and I'm actually of this thing. The more you feel that thing, the more you attract the thing that you actually want. I am not talking about social climbing. That is different, and I despise it so much. Do not social climb. Go, but find those spaces and actually get to know these people. Let them help you. Let them mentor you. Let them do whatever. But don't come as a social climber. There are those social climbers who come and then they are just something else. They are sort of like parasites. You don't want to have that kind of energy. Now you're also going to bring vibes. Because, by the way, let me tell you, as you social climb, the people you're actually hanging around, they know it. They can feel it. The same way you have a spirit, the same way they also have a spirit. They can actually pick, and they pick those vibrations from you. They can actually sense it. So don't do that, but rather be there, and be there genuinely because you genuinely want to be with this thing, and you're actually trying to be mentored. Accept you do not know, and you need that kind of environment. Do not go there trying to also be like them. That is social climbing. You cannot be like them if you are not like them. But you can actually be there, and then it can actually help you because it gives you that kind of feeling, like the other man of the suit. So basically, that kind of feeling is going to help you a lot. Now, some of the things you have to do to actually bring that thought within you to maintain a certain feeling is you have to keep repeating certain things onto yourself. For example, if you want to maybe to come out of debt, then you are going to think of a certain amount that you want. Do not think of the debt, but rather think of the certain amount that you want, which you think will be able to sort that debt. And then it will also probably be able to help you, whatever amount. But think on it. Maybe I will say, maybe like I want 50 million, Now think on the 50 million. Then think of it like you can wake up in the morning and tell yourself, I am probably earning 50 million. You actually speak yourself. These things, it actually sounds stupid. Like the Bible says that this message is foolishness to those who are perishing, but to those who are being saved, it is the power of God. So while it sounds foolish, it actually works. Now you speak to yourself, but keep repeating it to yourself. Repeat yourself, I am earning 50 million. I am earning 50 million. But you don't stop at that. You should also make a plan on how you're actually going to earn this 50 million. Make that plan. and go through with it. But you see, every morning and night, when you speak to yourself, or even in the middle, the more you speak to yourself, the better. Because it keeps, like, you're putting it in your subconscious, and your subconscious is going to let your body act the way you have actually fed it. Yes. Remember, we're actually trying to make the subconscious, and your body just moves automatically. It moves automatically because it will start feeling that thing which is also in the subconscious, which has come from your thought and all that. So keep repeating those words that you want to hear, but don't just repeat them. I said. Also, make a plan on how you are actually going to achieve those things. Don't just say vain words. Also, make a plan on how you are going to achieve these things. Then go on with the plan and do it. Other things, like, you don't mind about how will I achieve it, no, mind, just do the plan. Write down your plan and say, this is how I am going to get it. Now it is 50 million that I want. I have a salary maybe of 1 million. Then think of, okay, where else can I get the remaining 49 million? Then you think, okay, I have these things, I need to sell them. Maybe I have a plot of land that I want to, like, you do a real plan. Do a real plan and then go through with that plan. Then you leave the rest of the things. God is faithful enough to actually do that which you desire, which you have asked of Him. He is that faithful. Write it down. Actually, writing it down helps you actually memorize it very well. Now, after you have written down this thing, you have repeated this thing. Now, detach yourself from that thing. Yes, detach. And when I say detach, I mean surrender. Surrender that thing to God. Like, in the same way, I have one of my people. She was in a relationship, and this relationship actually broke. It broke, and it was not going to work anymore. Like, the worst thing that happened that you can actually imagine is what really happened. So, but then she called me like at 2 a.m. She was crying and she told me, this is what has happened. This is what has happened. I don't know what to do. They have even chased me out of the house and all that. That's how she kept telling me about what had actually happened. Because they had actually chased her out of the house. They had even sent her with all her luggage, like, pack up, go back to your home. This is a real life story they call. So she called me at 2, was it 2? Coming like to 3 a.m. Because she didn't know who to talk to. She was devastated. She didn't know what to do. And then she called me and I told her, you know what? There's something you're going to do, but I do not know if you will take it. Because right now, I told her, do you love this man? She says, yes, I love this man. And I said, then, well, leave him. What? What do you mean I leave him? I just told you I love this man. I told him, then you have to leave him. Yes. I gave her a Bible scripture, I think it was scripture in Psalms, and I told her, just read it, and then you will understand what I mean. Well, this is a scripture where David was actually saying that I renew the spirit within me. He had talked about how what he had actually done to Bathsheba, and he was repenting it. So I told her, yes, whether you are accused falsely or wrongly, whatever it is, you just have to go, you repent, that this is what, and accept it. Accept. Like, don't accept what you haven't done, but like, even if you have done it or you haven't done it, I told her, accept it. And after accepting it, surrender it. Like, leave it. Like, speak to yourself, you know what? I have actually left this thing. Something that you have left does not mean you don't want it. No, it doesn't mean. It actually means you actually want it. But you still want to be happy. So she detached from it. She cried. She really cried. She called me in the morning and she actually cried herself to sleep that night of the morning. But in the morning at around midday the next day, she called me and told me, can you imagine? I never believed that this thing would ever work. And she called me and told me, you know what? He's actually called me and he told me, let's go and talk. She did not expect that. She didn't even think that would happen. But I told her, God is faithful. Now, with that technique of surrender, it is not guaranteed that the thing is going to come back to you. But if it surely should be yours, now that is the part when it comes back to you. But if it is not for you, you will actually feel like you don't even want it anymore. You'll actually feel like it is not making sense anymore. You'll find everything bad as to why you won't go, because that is exactly the vibration around. God is faithful like that. He will bring it to you through the power of His Holy Spirit, with everything that He has actually placed around. He will actually bring it to you. Now, surrendering is a very, very powerful weapon. But you have to keep surrendering every day for that dream that you actually want to achieve. That 50 million that you want to achieve, you have to surrender every day. Do not attach yourself to it. Because when you attach yourself to it, you're going to become a maniac. you're going to become a possessive person. You can't possess, meaning it has now become your God. Do you know what I mean? It has now actually become your God. Yes. But when you detach from it, you have detached from it. But doesn't mean you're not still feeling, you are detaching from it. Much as you're saying the thing, I am getting this, but you have detached from it. Do not hold it. So that because you may detach from it, you want the 50 million. What if 100 million is what wants to come? You're still stuck on 50 million. So detach from it, and I can assure you that thing will work. I have used it a couple of times. I have advised some people to use it a couple of times, and it has always worked. It has always worked. It never fails to work. So yeah, that is what we had for this week, and I am happy to have you here. But I need you to subscribe. I need you to subscribe. I need you to share. I need you to like them. I need you to comment. Yes, you do that. You do that so much. And also write to me. Tell me, hello, how are you? I'll be very glad to respond. And you can ask some questions. Maybe when you write to me in my email, then I'll be able to respond. But please, and now, when you subscribe, also hit that notification button so that like every time I release something, it will be able to remind you, get a notification. Thank you for always being around. Have a lovely day.